Hey there, it's Kat. So I have these 3 bunnies, and I put a survey out on my Instagram and Facebook pages, and you guys voted on the purple one to start with. So I don't know if I'll get to the others this season, but let's at least show you how to make a centerpiece. So I start off by removing the tag, and now it's time to pick some of the floral pieces that I'll add to it. So I'm just kind of going through my stash and pulling out different things. I really like these pansies, and so I think that's the way I decided to go. But I thought about using the eggs, but I just didn't know if it'd be too much. So I start by just trimming down all the different pieces of this pick, and just cutting them using my wire cutters, just so that I can work with them individually, because I don't want a big bunch. I kind of want to spread them around. So I kind of pick a couple of them, as you can see, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm totally doing this real time with you guys, and so I'm kind of trying to figure out that I kind of want it to kind of go at an angle. So I want a grouping at the top and a grouping at the bottom. So I'm going to start with this one, and I like this amount of picks, and I'm just going to put a little zip tie around just to kind of hold it together. And again, you can also use wire if that's what you have. The zip tie was quick, and I will eventually use wire as well. And then it allows me to kind of move things around once it's kind of secure, just to kind of shape it the way I want. And again, I'll probably do this several more times before I'm finished. And so I do like that. Then the next step is to kind of do another gathering of these pieces so that I can have it going in the opposite direction, pointing downward. So I'm kind of looking through to see if I want to add any more into the other. And as I'm working this, just trying to figure out the right amount. And I realize I still have to cut my tags from my pick, the bunny is from, I picked up at Walmart, and then the pick was something I picked up from Michael's. So again, you can find these items anywhere. I mean, even Dollar Tree has florals and stuff to put on. But again, I'm using a zip tie just to kind of secure it for the time being, as it's a quick addition. And so I actually end up kind of playing around, trying to see the positioning of it, how I like it, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. So I have some extra pieces I've decided not to use, so I just set those to the side. Now I'm going to work on the next little piece, and then I'll pull it all together. So I'm going to add this 2.5 inch wired ribbon. I use about a 5-inch tail, and I'm making just 4-inch loops. And you certainly could do this with a 1.5 inch ribbon and do more. I just, to be honest, don't have a whole lot of 1.5 inch ribbon. I like working with the 2.5 inch, so that's what I had on hand. So, but I don't want to make a huge bow. I want it I don't want to overwhelm the bunny. So I just go with making 2 loops on either side, and the loops are 4 inches and the tails are about 5 inches. And so I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to move my bow maker out of the way, and I'm just going to check to make sure I like that size. And I think that's not overwhelming to this bunny and will work great. So I obviously trim my other side. Excuse me. And I did not have my scissors I usually like to use to cut my ribbon. I just happened to have a pair of crafting ones, but I didn't want to stop the video. So, and I will go ahead and secure this with a zip tie as well. And again, you could use pipe cleaner or wire, whatever is your preference. So I'm not going to tighten it all the way down because I want to make a center for my bow. So I'm just going to cut, just kind of testing it out. I don't know how long it was. I think it may have been about 4 inches. But it's just to make a center. So I fold it with the creased edges, with the wire edges under. And I'm going to just wrap this around the center. That way it just looks more of like a finished bow instead of being able to see that zip tie. And I'm going to tuck the ends in opposite directions under that zip tie before I tighten it all the way down. And so that's what I'm doing here. And then I'll just tighten down that zip tie, and I have a completed bow. And I can fluff it and kind of work it the way I want. So I'm going to tighten down my zip tie and trim off the end. The next thing that I do is I'm just going to go ahead and fluff this bow up, and I'll probably do it a couple more times before I'm finished, but at least it will kind of get me in getting it where I want it. Now there is a bow on here, and it's pretty much just glued on here, so I'm going to kind of pull and remove the bow part. I do leave the part that's wrapped around the neck. I just am removing the bow, so it's one less thing to deal with. And for the most part, I can, I thought I could pull it off, but I ended up cutting it because it was hot glued on. And again, now I'm just checking to see if I like the size of my bow. And I'm going to go ahead and dovetail those ends. So I'll just kind of cut them at an angle, so it makes that V shaped. Okay, so I'm checking again my placement. I'm trimming up a few little loose ends there. And now I'm going to start playing around with the picks and getting them positioned the way I want them. And so ultimately I'm going to have one going up to the left when you're looking down at the rabbit, and one going down to the right. And so I'm just kind of checking the positioning of things and seeing how I like it. Now I need to trim down these zip ties, so I'm kind of tightening them up and then trimming them down. And I also am trimming off that longer piece of the picks. So I'm going to grab some wire. Well, actually, I take that back. I tried to zip tie, and to be honest with you, the zip tie just didn't really hold it and secure it. It was, I felt like it wasn't holding things in position, so I decided to remove the zip tie and go with some wire. I also added in a few more pieces to make it a little fuller, but basically I'm just twisting the tip. I wrap it around once, take that end and just twist it to the main body of the wire, trimming off the pointed part, and then just kind of using my needle nose to help kind of tuck it in. So I'm adjusting a little bit here before I grab the second edge or the second piece, and again kind of positioning it a little bit, spreading it out, and then I use the wire to attach the two together. And I feel like the wire is actually more secure. So I'll finish off by just wrapping that wire all the way around so both edges or both pieces are attached. Then I can fluff it again, kind of spreading out those flowers the way I want. And again, I'll probably do it one more time once it's actually on the bunny. But now I'm kind of positioning here, and the way I'm going to secure this is I'm going to use some hot glue, but I'm also going to use these, they're U-shaped pins. You'll see in a second. So they can go in, since this is bunny is made of foam, I can push those down into the body, and you don't really see them. But to be on the safe side, I'm going to add a little hot glue there too. And again, I'm just kind of checking all the placement, and I will secure the bow with the hot glue as well. So I'm just going to add a dab of hot glue kind of all around the centerpiece and making sure it's around those pins as well. And I'll use hot glue again for the bow. And now I'm just kind of holding in place while I fluff my bow up. And now you have a completed bunny centerpiece. I hope you enjoyed this video, and will subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other tutorials. Take care.